Good morning, everyone. My name is Daniel. I am over here from Sunhub, and over here have Manny from GoodWe USA. Uh, Today, we actually have a great opportunity, and we'd like to talk about RePower. Um, but before we go into that, and I'd like to highlight that Manny will be the one to kind of lead the project RePower on this from GoodWe. My area that will cover kind of the segment and the market headwinds that we have as of today, and some things that we did cover as of our last webinar. So, okay. So today we have three segments that I'd like to cover. Segment one would be covering a recap from our last webinar that happened in October, towards the start of Q4, actually. This was around the time when major policies were announced. A lot of scare was in the industry, as well as a lot of noise. And we made three calls, three predictions, and those are the things that I like to highlight, what we called out and what came true. And in the second segment, I like to talk about what is happening in the market as of today. The third segment would be the golden opportunity for homeowners, for installers, uh, whether you're a DIYer. This is something that kind of is a crucial moment for these key audiences to kind of take action at this point. So this timeline is a crucial timeline. It's a timeline that kind of represents the dates that we have already passed. As you can see, we are in the middle of February and July. Uh, Today's date being May 21st. And what we have already seen so far is the ending of our 30% tax credit on the residential side. Following that, we also saw the expiration of Section 201. Next, we are about to see a construction deadline on the 30% tax credit that is for all those projects that need to be in service by July 4th to still claim the full 30% ITC as of this year. Uh, the next date that we also have in mind is the December 31st for 2027. This deadline is for our solar lease and PPA loans when it comes to the residential side. And finally, it will be the 2032 deadline. That is for the storage credit tax credit that we have. This is a timeline as of today. It is not a fixed timeline. We have to understand that policies keep changing, and dates are also something that we also need to kind of consider that will change as policies change. Yeah. So coming back to the three predictions that we had made in our last webinar, it is related to the storage solar outcome, policy and trades, as well as the data centers that were predicted at the time and how they would have affected us in the market. So in Q4, we made a prediction that we were going to see a growth in storage, and that prediction turned out to be true. As of 2025, the residential market saw a 51% increase in residential storage year over year. The whole industry by itself saw a 52% total storage increase year over year. For all of the United States, within the 2025 year, we saw a total of 58 gigawatts installed for the US solar market. Now, that is a insane increase, and that's not going to stop right here. It's only going to go more up, especially after the policies that went into effect as of 2026. we're probably looking at another 45 to 50% increase for this current year. Now, this prediction was also turned out to be true, but it was a lighter prediction in my mind. It was something that everyone was already foreseeing to be in action. It was just a matter of time where these guidances and guidelines on these policies were more ironed out. As of today, all these policies are in effect. They are also with guidance on how to navigate with these policies. We do have more information on this, and there will be further webinars that will talk about these specific policies and how to guide or at least navigate through them. But as of today, we will not talk about this as much. But these predictions did come into light and they did turn out to be more ironed out. But that was another win. The last one. Now, this was related to data centers as well as AI. I think everyone is already aware of this part. And the one part that was no surprise was the utility rate increase. Now, some of you may already know this, but our utility rates did increase about 9.5% year over year. And 2025 alone, that was a 50% increase from our previous year. Now, this is a shocking increase, and I'd like to say this one's not going to go as well. Our data centers are uh, probably expanding more than ever before, and we're probably headed to a 60% increase in utility rates when it comes to, uh, I guess, the timeline of 2 to 3 years. That's what the data, or at least the numbers I've calculated, are showcasing. Okay, so segment two, this one is more about what is happening in the market as of today. And the four things that, or at least the two or three things that we do want to cover is the utility increase, tax credit side of it, some core components, and where the policies may shift. So, kind of highlighting some of the things already, AI data centers are here to stay. It is something that we are actively seeing as a new industry growing within the United States. It is something that is not dependent on renewable energy, but renewable energy is playing a major role when it comes to generating energy. So data centers are heavily demanding energy, whether it's from solar panels, whether it's from um, nuclear power, thermal, all types of energies that you can think of. It is a core demand, and the supply is not there yet, but the supply is needed. Yes. So, covering some of the things when it comes to the tax credit, the current information out there is that the tax credit is gone. Uh, Technically, yes, but realistically, it's still there. It just simply got moved. What I mean by that is that if you're a homeowner and if you're looking to purchase a solar system and looking to claim that tax credit, that is no longer there. However, that 30% tax credit is still there when it comes to purchasing a system through a PPA loan or through uh, a lease. Now, this is something that you won't be able to claim on that tax credit. Uh, that's the opportunity cost, but realistically, it for the homeowner, that part is gone. Now, this is the turn point when it comes to storage and utility rates increasing. Because of the utility rates increasing, getting storage units has never been a better opportunity than now. And it's only going to get better when it comes to the ROI of a storage unit itself. the ROI is only there because utility rates increase. As an example, if your utility the utility charge is lower during, I guess, nighttime, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., versus like during peak hours, uh, that's where you get to utilize your storage unit to bridge that spike that the utility rates set on you as a homeowner. Now, there's two different factors that you may fall under. Some of the people that are on this call, whether you're a homeowner with an existing system or if you're a homeowner looking to get solar in 2026 and moving forward. If you're a homeowner looking to get a solar system as a fresh owner, you would want to consider something that is with a storage unit because that's the default as of today's market and today's uh, industry standard, that you will want to get a battery system. But a key component that you want to keep in mind is that battery system will need a hybrid inverter. Uh, Previously, string inverters were the most go-to recommended product. And that's where the shift happens, because to expand on your existing system, you will need a hybrid inverter to facilitate a storage unit on your solar system. But if you do not have that, you'll have to more than likely replace it out. Or if your system is nearing its warranty's end, you're more than likely to replace that inverter regardless of getting a storage unit or not. For my friends that are installers on this call, I would also recommend the same thing for you, because all the inverters that are already existing on your homeowner's house, they're the inverters that either have, well, the manufacturers are either not there, or you're not looking at a system in a way where it's able to reach its full capacity. And that capacity can only be reached by getting a hybrid inverter for your first homeowner or your first solar system homeowner looking to get solar. Or if they're looking to get a retrofit hybrid, uh, a retrofit system installed, then a hybrid inverter is the way to go to increase the ROI on the whole system itself. Lastly, this is probably a key thing for homeowners to know, that when you're looking to expand on your system, you don't have to go through the same things that you went initially once you were getting your solar system installed. That goes with permitting, that goes with the interconnection, any of the roof structure that had to be adjusted or had to take time to kind of get the solar installation in place. You're looking to simply get a replacement or just a upgrade. I like to say upgrade's a better word, because this is a quick, simple, and easy process to get done. And that's the key benefit behind this, where if you already were an early adopter of getting solar in the early days, then you're at this key point to make a big decision. Finally, I'd like to pass it on to Manny over here, and he will be covering on the golden opportunity that we have with Project RePower.
Thank you, Daniyal. Thank you for those insights in the industry. I'm sure that the audience will find that relevant. Good morning for those of you on the west side of the nation, and good afternoon for you guys on the east. My name is Manny Aponte. I'm the regional sales manager for GoodWe. I oversee the state of Texas, Southeast, and Puerto Rico, so I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for the invitation from Sunhub. But yeah, I'm ready to start. So let's talk first, about this opportunity, and let's clarify, before we get into the size of the prize, let's level set on what we even mean with repower, because half of the audience are using the words slightly different. So let's talk about like what stays on a system. So, the modules that are usually, 15-year plus year life left when you are into these opportunities, racking, and usually the conduits for the wiring. Um, this is the part that most installers underestimate is the expensive, heavy stuff. It's fine. Right. So what usually gets swapped, the inverter, which tends to be sometimes, the bottleneck, the monitoring platform, and sometimes the combiner or the disconnect. This is the brain transplant, right? So what usually get added is battery, right? Like that's, the batteries are more cost effective and they tend to be like a higher margin upsell, right? So the modern rapid shutdown compliance, also, this is something that not many old versions are equipped with. And, the increase of EV charger or smart load management, uh, every repower is a chance to bolt on revenue that wasn't there in 2014. So the bottom line, you're not selling a new system, you're upgrading an asset the customer already owns. And that distinction is the entire sales conversation. So now, why are we talking about this in 2026 specifically? Why not 3 years ago? Why not 3 years from now? Right? So there's a few forces that are pushing this right now. And first, let's talk about the utility rates climbing. In the U.S., residential rates. Well, I was showing a conservative number, which is 5.4% year over year. That's according to some information that I gathered, but it seems that Daniyal came up with a different number, which seems to be higher. However, 242 plus utility have filed rate hikes through 2027. So your customer is getting a fresh reminder of every bill of why solar makes sense. So Repower locks that savings that they thought they already had in the beginning. The second force is the aging hardware. So there is a wave of, a bunch of systems already being installed. There's more than 1 million residential systems already that are 10-year plus and in performance. So there's about like 400 plus thousand crossing in the line every year through 2030. So the wave, it's coming. It's already here. So this is something that is gonna continue growing. If you think about like the HVAC industry, like when they started, at the beginning, not everybody had money to have HVAC, but then it became a thing that almost everybody have. And who would have thought at that time that HVAC can survive with servicing only, right? So this is like the opportunity that I'm seeing. Like we need to start like adopting in this industry and find ways in where we can monetize new opportunities. And when you start like turning your business into service, well, service sells, right? Service sells. You can sell a new system. You can sell like upgrade a new system, existing system, but it gives also the homeowner the peace of mind that the installer is going to be there for the long term. Another, force is the new utility rules. So, like talking specifically about the UL 1741, which most utilities and territory require for interconnection. So here's a trigger. If your customer adds a storage or modify their system, the utility can require a new interconnection agreement. And that forced the new compliance of the IEE 1547 that passed in 2018. So legacy inverters can comply. So the upgrade becomes a path forward, right? Instead of doing a new system. The longer customer waits, the more expensive that gets. The fourth force is, asset value pressure. There are a bunch of systems that were installed under TPOs, and those TPOs are supposed to meet certain revenue, and those revenues are production driven. So again, this is something that matters for the systems that are under a TPO agreement. those systems are also going to serve as an opportunity. So the better that you are prepared to service, the more opportunity you will have as a business owner and expand that. So 5 years ago, like none of these forces were strong enough alone. So like today, uh, they're all moving together, and your customer is feeling all the force, and that's why now we are having this conversation. Next slide, please. All right, okay, so that's why now. Here's how big it is. So, over 1 million of US residential system already have, 10 plus years old system that's not a fusion market. That's like right now it's happening. Another 400,000 systems are crossing the 10-year every year through the 2030. So we're going to see more opportunities in the near future, if not already. There are 23 gigawatts of utility solar needed electrical upgrades over the next 5 years. So not just residential, but also the opportunity exists in CNI and utility fleet too. And then, like PV Magazine called it 2026 the year of repowering, $1 billion plus market open up, right? So the trade press is calling it, that's, you're covering air. So you're stepping in front of a way that is already moving. If you're not thinking about this, then now is the time to you think about like, how do you prepare your business to be having a service arm or repower or upgrade, or also, just positioning. It helps your business overall. So next slide, please. So, I'll close this section, with a line that I keep coming back into every conversation. I have an asset owner. So, the first decade of solar was about installing capacity. The next decade is about optimizing what we already built. So, repowering is how we protect and improve the assets we already built. Like that's the opportunity that now leads, that let me show why most installers are still leaving it on the table. Like not many people are thinking about it. And instead of talking about, how to reach out to those existing system or potential customer to tap into that opportunity. So let's talk, so why are these systems are calling you? Well, look at the asymmetric, right? So like the modules last between 25 to 30 years. Inverter lasts 10 to 15 years. Very simple, and that's well known. That gap is entirely reason of this market exists. It's I haven't like there's although there are extended warranties for inverters, that doesn't mean that the inverter is going to last the same life of the module, and that's a true reality. Plus, inverter is a technology-driven component, right? So that continue evolving, right? So your customer modules are barely halfway through their life, so the electronics on top of them are dying, right? So aging hardware manufacturer exists, performance drift. Right now it's been proved that, the performance degradation is about 1.2%, where, I remember the industry standard was 0.5% per year, but the reality is different. So this is accelerating. And, modules fine, inverters die. That should be an easy fix, right? Except for what's coming on, the next slide. There you go. And this is the true reality of our industry. So, and, let's call it for what it is. This is the recipe, right? This is every major O&M in the US, utility scale fleets, size, by megawatt installed. So we have orphan inverters from manufacturers. We also have orphan systems from, EPCs as well, right? So all those systems are still going to be needed to be served. And again, some of the inverters from old generations are not made because the manufacturer moved on to a newer technology. So again, there's still like a great opportunity. So, um, you know, SMA, leads the amount of inverters that are about to hit that milestone, but they are still supplying support. That's good news for the SMA customers. However, GE had 4 gigawatt and they abandoned the space, right? So that's one of the many examples that I can give you. But let's go to the next slide. So, these are some of the key regions that we are seeing that, there's a lot of opportunities. Of course, California is one of the first adopters, and then Texas already, has picked up a lot of volume. We also see a lot of opportunity in the Northeast, Puerto Rico, and Hawaii. So these are opportunities that, you can tap into opportunities for repower. So, let's go back into, why from the customer perspective, why would this be a good idea, or what would a business owner or homeowner will say yes, right? Well, first of all, you don't sell them on a repair, you sell them on an upgrade, and that's like the fine line that you need to, make sure that you're not saying like, let me repair your systems, like let me upgrade, let me get you something, updated, right? And that's where the conversation is starting a good fit. Like you start, you're not asking them to fix something broken. You're offering them an upgrade on an asset that already they own. So it's like the same as a car. Hey, if you can get a new upgrade on your 10-year-old car, we'll say like yes. I want Bluetooth. So there's more energy also. Like all inverters efficiency used to be lesser than the current inverters. So like by upgrading with a new inverter, you can convey the message telling the customer that you can potentially see an increase in production between 2 to 8%. Uh, and that usually is quite enticing, right? Also, let's talk about the O&M, right? So many of the old generations didn't have the technology that we have right now. So like now with the New York inverters, you have remote diagnosis, standardized part, faster truck roll resolution. So you can plug it in on the internet and you can do a bunch of stuff. Sometimes you don't have to be on site to fix whatever the issue is. Sometimes it's just an update and you can do that remotely, right? So another thing we'll like to touch is protect the grid access, right? So this is one of the bigger. This one looks bigger than it looks because RePower preserves existing interconnection rights. So the most constrained, valuable element of any renewable project today, right? So it's permitting for those of you guys that know what is the pains that we have to go through AHJs and utilities, like the interconnection sometimes agreement that it may take longer, right? And they put a bunch of hoops and it start looking into everything, right? So you're trying to avoid that, right? So your customer interconnection slot is worth real money in the current queue environmental, right? So Repower keeps it. So a rebuild risk is losing it, right? And then again, more energy, lower O&M, current with the grid. I mean, like those are the three-line pitch that perhaps you guys. I'll recommend you to memorize it. But yeah, that's how you walk into those assets. So now let's talk about what is this for you, right? So the race to the bottom price, it's we no longer need to do that. The repower allows you to still have a share, a fair opportunity for you to earn what you deserve. So long sales cycles, there's no long sales cycles here. It's like either like this is what you have, you want it or not. And then, the homeowner, as the more that they wait, they're going to continue losing money. So this is something that, is going to help you to move that, right? And then, you don't have to start working on the permitting and all that stuff that really can basically expand the velocity on every project that you have in your pipeline, right? So, um, 40 to 70% more cost effective than, building from scratch. That's a good benefit thoughts. So that, not us, but like that's what PB Magazine says in March 2026. RePower wins on a raw economic before you even count other advantage, right? So again, RePower preserved the 16 interconnection slot. So just hitting on the same point over and over. Next slide, please. Yeah. And then, before someone asks, yeah, but is there volume in the markets? Let's look at the actual cost, right? So, when it comes to that question, this is where this slide was meant to be, where, what are we really looking into a partner? When you want to offer the repower, you want to have these three things locked in. So you want to be able to have like the support. You want to have support from your manufacturer, and also you want to be able to have this like make sure that when you look into this system, you can reach out to the manufacturer and share the plan, so you make sure that everything is going to work per manufacturer guidance. You want to make sure that serviceability, so you can service this in a timely manner. And you can address this, not always having somebody on site, and like also the reliability and reputation. You want to make sure that you're working with a distributor that have the equipment in stock, and also that the equipment that you are going to use is going to be reliable. It's not going to give you headaches. So those are the three things that usually are the things that, if you can convey the message, all the three things that you can cover is what is going to help you win the sale. So this is a case from a project in Puerto Rico. This customer had a 30 kW system, and it has two inverters, Selectria, which are no longer in business as of today, right? So what they did is they purchased, this was a project that needed a 208 volt solution. So what they did is they used our low voltage SMT 28 kW. And what they did is one of the inverters of the 15 kilowatt, it went out of service. So they replaced the 115 inverter with this 28 kilowatt inverter. And they know that the other inverter, the time of going out of service was approaching, right? So what they said, what they did is they just they leave two MPPTs left. So when the other inverters stop working, then they can attach the other lines there and the other strings. So what that means is that was long-term savings and peace of mind for this homeowner, because they know that they have now one inverter that can power two inverters. What they originally have it is a better upgrade right now. And when the other inverter goes out of service, they can just add it into this inverter, and they're gonna be just fine. Next slide, please. All right. So here's where I kind of like talk a little bit about GoodWe, and then why GoodWe. So, GoodWe, we've been in business since 2010, and the company went public in 2020. And when they start in the US, they start under the brand of General Electric. And we used their license for 5 years. And then as of 2025, GoodWe started with their own brand. So since 2010, as a matter of fact, last year we celebrated the 15-year anniversary. So that was great. But yeah, since 2010, we have been awarded several awards. And, out of all this, what I can mention is that, we are Bloomberg Tier 1 rated company. So it's a company is public, it's bankable. Wood Mackenzie recognized us as, like the top 3 hybrid manufacturer in the world. We are number 6 globally in the world as a inverter manufacturer. And again, like there's plenty of other, awards that we have. Next slide, please. So I'm going to go over real quick about, the solutions that we have. So this is for the residential. What you see there is our inverter or automatic backup device and the batteries. So here, this is the inverter, and it comes in different sizes. So we have from 5 kilowatt, 6 kilowatt, 7.6 kilowatt, 9.6, and 11.4 kilowatt. So after 7.6 kilowatt, all the inverters have 4 MPPTs. For 5 and 6, it comes with 2 MPPTs, but these MPPTs come with a 16 amp PV input, and you can the tolerance of these inverters is 150% of the rated power. So that means is that, for example, the 11.4 kilowatt inverter that we have here, you can put up to 17 kilowatt on PV. And it also comes with a level 2 EV charger. And this is it's a hybrid inverter. Next slide, please. So one of the cool things about this inverter is that because it comes in with, EV charger, on the monitoring system, it has several setups in where you can set up when do you want your EV to be charged. You can pick, time of use. You can, set it up so it's charged when the sun is shining or late at night. So it gives you that versatility to, have control on how do you want to charge the car. So this is where our ecosystem is start expanding. It's not just like having monitoring into your solar system, but also you have additional functions that you can play around with your EV charging. All right, so this is the battery, and as you guys can see, the battery is stackable. So the battery comes between 9.6 up to 19.2 kilowatt hours. So each of the modules are 3.2 kilowatt hours, and you can do up to 4 stacks of 19.2 in parallel. So you can do up to 16.8 kilowatt hours with one inverter. So these are high voltage batteries, which is more efficient. And then another thing is that you don't need a big gauge, a big cable, like a low gauges. So with a 6 cable gauge, you usually install these batteries with inverter. So what that means is less money on cable, especially now that we all know that copper is quite expensive. So there is some savings also in having a high voltage battery. Next slide. So as I mentioned, this is a modular battery. And one of the cool things is that each module weighs about 84 pounds. So either 1 or 2 person can install these batteries with an inverter. So very cost effective from the installation point of view. If you can do 2 to 3 battery installs with 2 guys, that's money, right? So GoodWe, the ECS, the install is super easy, and also you don't need that many people to install it. You don't need a lifter to lift this in the wall because again, is 84 pound each unit. So this is the automatic backup device. The automatic backup device is basically the brain that works between the inverter and the battery, and it also serves the functionality of providing you with backup. In addition to that, this serves a 200 amp main service panel, and it comes with CTs. So that means that you will be able to, on the monitoring system, you'll be able to see production and consumption of the whole system. And that was our residential solution. And now I'm going to talk briefly about our CNI solution, what you see here. The first one next, please. Yeah, the first one this is the SMT. This is like our inverter for 480 volts. So it comes on 50 and a 60 kilowatt size, and the maximum tolerance on this is 150%. So for the 50, you can do up to 75 kilowatt on PV, and then for the 60, you can do up to 95 kilowatts in PV. All of the inverters that we have, it comes with a built-in rapid shutdown transmitter, which is APS. So we meet that category. If you have a project that require a smaller inverter, we can also derate these inverters to a smaller size if that's needed. The next product that we have for CNI is for 208 volts or 220 to 40. And this is our LV SMT. LV stands for low voltage SMT. And this comes on two sizes, which is 22 or 28 kilowatt. And the tolerance on this one is even higher. It's 180%. So with the 22 kilowatt inverter, you can do up to 40 kilowatt on PV. And with the 28, you can do up to 50 kilowatts on PV. And again, it comes with all the good stuff that the other LV SMT has, with the rapid shutdown system and the monitoring and everything that we offer on our standard offering for GoodWe. So lastly, just want to leave this behind, which is why GoodWe. So GoodWe has installed over 100 gigawatt across the world, and so we have been proven to be reliability. We've been in business for 15 years, so you can feel comfortable offering GoodWe because we will honor that warranty. We are a public company. You can check us out. So we are stable, and we are here. We are the top 10 solar inverter in the world. We're number 6 globally, Bloomberg Tier 1 rated, so we are a bankable company as well. And then, we have a strong footprint in the US. So we are GoodWe, but we are GoodWe USA Inc. So the team in the US are based here. The customer service is here. All the information in terms of the monitoring and everything is stay here, so it doesn't go to a data center in China. We have our own data center here, so everything is here. So we either a text away, a call away, or we are maybe living in your market. So we are here to serve our installers, make sure that they have the capability to provide a great experience to the homeowners. And that's it. Thank you, Daniyal, for the opportunity. And, we're glad to having this partnership with Sunhub. And thank you for, allowing me to share some insights and the opportunity of RePower.
No, Manny, I think you said it perfectly. And it was actually pretty insightful to just hear the solution on Project RePower. I'd like to give 5 to 10 minutes to our attendees, just to throw in some questions. And I know we have a few, or I see one right now. I think maybe.
So yeah, like every case is different. From what we statistically seen is between 2 to 8% as the best case scenario. Usually the older the inverter is, the more that, we can provide. So again, like if an inverter is 10 years old or 12 years old, it's been a lot of years. The technology goes so fast, especially in the past, 5 years. We've seen like there's some AI components that have been integrated into our inverters that, it makes it like much better in terms of efficiency. Those GoodWe makes a 6 kilowatt, 60 hard string inverter that can do 277 VAC single phase. I believe that we do. And if you want, what I can do is I'd like to share my contact information for those technical questions that you guys have. I can give you like a firm 100% answer because I like to always confirm with my technical sidekicks. Um, I'm usually the guy who present it and everything, but when it comes down to detailed technical, I like to always double check. So um, I'm gonna share my screen or I'm gonna share my email right here in case you guys don't have it. But feel free to shoot me your question or um, or give me a call. But okay, other circuit warnings of sign indicates a solar inverter is starting to underperform before it completely fails. Like the science usually comes down into the homeowner pocket. So like they usually are the ones that they can say. But yeah, you can look, depending on like the inverter, if they have some production data, they can, you can tell by that, right? And that's where, again, the if you start pitching like upgrade your system instead of fixing it, upgrade your system. We do like a free checkup on your system, or like, or schedule an appointment. And we like you can put the price whatever, but then this is where you start looking into it. Like if you do like a site audit, and you can charge for the site audit to see if you can upgrade the system, and if they decide to repower, then you waive the site audit. I don't know. There's many ways to do that. All right. Well, one thing that I like to do, in good faith, is that when some of part of my background is that, I've been on the installation shoes, and I came up with, Excel sheet to kind of like if you do like a site audit, what to look into it, and I'm gonna share this to everybody that registered um, to this presentation. I would like to kind of share this Excel book because like if I may, let me share my screen real quick. Um, so I'm gonna share this with you guys in good faith because again, when it comes to repower, there's no like a secret recipe. There is ways to approach it, right? So I wanted to share this with you so that way you guys can kick in and start doing, like this approach to homeowner, because I do see there's a lot of opportunity. So I create, like this proposal generation where you guys can put like the customer information here, the project, you put the customer information, the project, the current existing system, the details on the utility and the electrical stuff that is already installed, the PV array, if there is a storage backup, and then like the install side. But anyway, I did this in good faith to share with you guys, and you guys can manipulate this whatever you want. Like, of course, I put the GoodWe brand because I work for GoodWe, but you guys, if you want to lead your repower effort with GoodWe, then that would be great. Then like offer GoodWe on your repowers. But anyway, I have this. Worksheet that it should be able to help you to make it easy to gather the information. And the cool thing is that at the end it's gonna spit out a proposal for you. So again, I'm sharing this in good faith, so hopefully you guys can find some use. So stand by for that after the meeting. Did I share? Did you guys saw my screen or?
Yeah, yeah, no, that tool looks nice.
All right, cool. Then, all right.
All right, so we're just under time, and I think we did go through all the questions. So I think we're good for today. And well, thank you everyone who attended, and thank you, Manny. I think this was very insightful, and I think there's a lot more to come. I feel like there is a part three to this Sunhub and GoodWe webinar.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, same. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. Until next time, we'll see you then. Goodbye.